Enterprise remains considerably damaged from the Romulan minefield. Oh, what will our intrepid travelers do? Well, what about this repair station? Is it too good to be true? And what about that pan-fried catfish? Is it really as good as it sounds? We'll find out, and more. I'm Josh.
I'm Justin.
And this is From There to Here. Well, according to the IMDb, Enterprise seeks... Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't tell you what episode it is.
Oh.
The episode is Dead Stop. This is Season 2, Episode 4, and here is what it's about. Enterprise seeks repairs from their encounters with the Romulans, where they stop at a desolate but idyllic repair station, but all is not what it seems when Mayweather is suddenly found dead. On the IMDb, this is rated an 8.0. Oh, okay. They did a good job on this one, Internet.
Good score.
Good score. Okay. What do you have, Justin?
Well, this has an original air date of October 9, 2002. And, of course, this episode is a direct sequel to the last episode, Minefield, and the producers and the writers all thought it would be a very good idea to not see the Enterprise reset and just be fixed by the next episode. They really wanted to show that...
Like another series that did that?
Yeah. They really wanted to show that there was a lasting effect from this. Mm-hmm. And, of course, also it was directed by Roxanne Dawson, B'Elanna Torres from Voyager.
She's done a couple by now.
She's done a few Enterprises by now. And, in fact, she was not the original. She does the voice of the computer station in the episode. And she was not the original actor or actress that did the voice. Apparently, when they were looking at a rough cut of the episode, Berman saw it and said, "Oh, hey, could you do it again and do it like this?" And she said, "Oh, that's not me. That's some other girl." And apparently she sounded similar. And he said, "Well, I think you would actually do it really well. Can you do it?" And she said, "Well, I guess, but I think they'll know my voice." And she said, "No, you can do it." And he talked her into it. And before you know it, she did an uncredited voice acting job.
How about that?
How about that?
How about that?
Just a bit outside.
Well, I like this episode a lot.
Sure.
It's one I like to rewatch.
I think it's
pretty frequently.
Like a fan favorite within Enterprise. It's a good episode.
Is it really? I'm not sure because, for me, A Night in Sick Bay is a favorite. I know that's not a fan favorite.
Guess what's next?
Is it really that one?
A Night in Sick Bay.
Okay. Well, you know what? Something I'd like to mention right at the top is the title. I think they need to change it because that isn't sensitive to non-living people.
That's right.
I think it needs to be retitled
The Non-Living Stop.
The Recently Deceased Stop.
Maybe so.
Do you hear that? Do you?
Don't get emotional now.
Anyway, no, but all jokes aside, I think that's something we should add to either the front or the tail of the show, like what we did with the awards.
Okay.
Where we can add an alternate title if we want.
Oh, all right. Sure.
So, sure. The Recently Deceased Stop is a joke. So, but if there is another title we can think of by the end, we can add that.
I'm okay with that.
Is there anything off the top of your head that you'd like to address about this show? About this episode?
Honestly, no. I got to say it was a solid episode from start to finish. Mm-hmm. I think everything worked. I can't even, I'm sure as we start talking, I'm sure we'll come up with something that we might writer's room, but by and large, I thought the episode was well done. It was well paced, satisfying. It was and thankfully, and I do agree with the producers and the writers that it was good to see an issue take more than one episode to be resolved and not to have it all happen off screen. And, I actually found myself quite literally thinking this as we watched the episode. I thought, man, if only they had done it like this from the start. Things like this, where they're so badly damaged that this was their issue in the opening act, where what's his name? Trip is telling Archer, we're so damaged that even if we were at space dock, it would take 3 months. And he says, I can only give you warp 2. To which Archer quickly calculates, well, that puts us how many years?
10 years.
away from the nearest station. That I like.
Mm-hmm.
They're the only Earth's vessel, Federation vessel, Starfleet vessel out there. Not Federation. If anyone's listening, I know the Federation is not made yet. It's Starfleet. I know. But they're the only ones out there. And Archer said, you know what? I think we're gonna call for help. We've answered enough. Someone can replay the favor. And I like that. I like that they're stuck. It actually kind of reminds me of Breaking the Ice, the episode Breaking the Ice, where they were stuck. Not the whole ship, but they were in a predicament and they couldn't get out. And they needed help. And they actually had to call upon the Vulcan ship to help. And I thought to myself, even as the episode started ramping up, they could, obviously Archer's not going to do that, they could call the Vulcans, and the Vulcans would come and help and repair the ship, and they'd be on their way. But that's not even a glint in Archer's eye. That's not even going to happen. So I wish they had more episodes like this where they feel the effect of being the only ones out there, and that if they sustain any considerable damage, that really puts them in a bad position. If the Enterprise D got hit by an asteroid or something, they just call home, send someone over, send a repair ship. They're fine. It's not a big deal. But that's not how it is for Archer and their crew. And I wish we had more instances like this.
Well, even after their fight with the Borg, they were still fine. So I think...
Right? I know.
Yeah, without a scratch, practically. I mean, even though they were hit by... Well, the saucer section was ripped up in Q-Who.
Yeah, but I mean, it was just a little carving.
Still, we don't hear about that again. And, I mean, you make a good point there. Yeah,
but the Enterprise D was literally generations of starships later, where they come prepared. But Enterprise is a little ship, and it does not have endless resources. They don't have, and they point this out, they don't have replicators.
Mm-hmm.
On even Kirk's ship, I think they had replicators, and they could just manufacture parts and eventually repair most of their issues. But that's a non-issue for Archer and company. So I wish we had seen more of this.
Well, something about what you just said about they have to deal with the consequences of the fact that they're out there. They don't have the means which to repair themselves or the resources. That's something that's going to come into play heavily in season 3 when they're in the Xindi storyline.
Yeah, what's that title?
There's season 3?
Yeah, that episode where Archer has to go and attack another.
Oh, right. Well, I wasn't thinking of a specific episode, but I was thinking in general.
Oh, I thought you were.
But yes, I know which one you're talking about. Yeah. That's one with isn't Casey Biggs the captain?
Yeah, I think so.
That he has to steal from.
Yeah, he attacks them.
I think he has to steal up their warp coil.
Yeah, and it leaves them stranded. Yeah,
but he didn't. That's what he says. His line was, "I have no choice. I'm sorry." Yeah. Anyway, but I think. When you're entering into an episode like this, and I start to wonder, well, what is this episode about? That's something we like to ask ourselves. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, it's not really about any one particular character.
No.
But, that old phrase, caveat emptor, buyer beware.
Sure.
Is it too good to be true? Clearly, it's too good to be true.
Yeah.
They get directed to this repair station. It modifies to suit their biology and opens up to their docking berths, open up to allow their ship to come in, and so they can repair it. And then what they want, 200 liters?
200 liters of
warp plasma for all of those repairs that would take about a day and a half. That seems way too good to be true. And T'Pol's response was, "Oh, that seems like a fair deal."
Right. And she should have been the first one to say that doesn't add up. That's we're ripping them off. Like something's wrong here. We should get out. Like this isn't right. Do you think they should have tried to cover that up a little bit better? I know this is writer's room territory, but I think no, that's fair to bring up. Yeah, probably would have been.
Look at Archer's face during that scene when he's being prompted by the computer of what their repair options will be for compensation.
Right.
It was like warp coil, something else, and then the plasma. And he's looking at it, and he seems really skeptical. I'm like, you should have stayed there because you were right. You shouldn't trust this machine.
Right,
They were talking to a computer. There was no people around.
Right.
They didn't know what this thing was. It could have done anything to their ship. It had complete control of it. And they let it fix Malcolm. So I mean, come on. I think they put a little bit too much faith into this thing.
Well, I think they were skeptical, but as Tripp points out, they didn't really have much choice. They were pretty much stranded.
And that's the rub. That's what makes it believable while you're watching it.
Yeah.
Not so much in hindsight, but while you're watching it, when you rationalize the fact that, they're stuck.
And Archer does not take long to express his discomfort and his concerns, but he is in that predicament. So we already know once he expresses those issues, they're in too deep, and they need to at least try this out because they're stuck. Thankfully, it's a position now where our crew, which so many times you and I ran into episodes already where they should have known better. And now here's an instance where they kind of do, but they're like, we just have no choice, man. We have to do it.
Well, maybe they have grown a little bit, because I remember that criticism from, I think it was the second episode when, was that Fight or Flight? Is that the second one?
Yeah, that's the second one.
When they come upon that ship and there's that crew that's dead aboard,
right.
Any rational person you would think was, okay, let's get out of here. Whoever killed these people is coming back.
Right.
But Archer's like, let's figure it out.
Let's go check it out.
Like, okay, bad idea. But here,
don't worry, Mom, we'll check it out.
Yes, at least it makes more sense.
Yeah.
That, they don't really have a choice. So, but I did notice, which is something we talked about during the last podcast about the color scheme. It looks like they went back to full bright. Did you notice that?
That it was more colorful?
It was still, the color seemed a bit more pushed up, but the even lighting I noticed was back mostly through most of the scenes.
I honestly
the station notice. I can forgive. That repair station was
meant to be bright.
Was meant to be, but inside the bridge, at least in the first few scenes there, it was just back to even lighting. And I really wish they would go back to that mood lighting. Give us some shadows.
Yeah,
I think they're. Yeah. I don't know why they keep.
I'm sure that
wanting to do that.
Yeah, I really couldn't say throughout the rest of the season, but I'm sure that changes. I'm almost certain it changes in season 3, that we get a lot more shadows. And, of course, the show itself has gotten darker, so they're going to light it darker.
Now, we haven't brought this up yet, and we didn't talk about it during the episode. But what do you think that station was?
Like who built it, that sort of thing.
What's its purpose? Was it the beginning of the Borg?
I was
people
wondering
have
if you were
said
going to bring that up,
haven't they?
No, of course it's not the beginning.
Well,
of the
people
Borg.
have said this.
I know, and I remember when we first watched it, that's what we talked about. But when you think about it for a second, if you know the lore of Star Trek, first of all, the Borg are in the Delta Quadrant, and they're nowhere near the Alpha Quadrant at this point. And even if they were, they're much further along than this, and they wouldn't bother with something like this at this point.
Well, then what is it?
Oh, I don't know. I mean,
they leave us on a cliffhanger at the end.
I know, and they never did follow it up.
No. It's kind of like the end of Conspiracy, or was it Schisms in TNG?
Right. You never get to see those aliens again.
Nope.
No, if I had to get, okay, let's writer's room this.
Okay.
Who did create this station?
Ooh, yeah.
So before we writer's room that, I think it's important to explain that, yes, the station being automated was fixing the Enterprise, and it turns out that the station kidnapped, it's the wrong word, took Mayweather, replaced it with a dead duplicate so that they could hardwire his brain power into the station. And he was one of, 20 people that were taken from other visitors that were powering the station, not just powering the station, they were using their brain as a CPU essentially. So, okay. So going forward now, how would we explain what would we say about the builders? Who are they? What was their intent?
Oh man. I'm not sure.
It doesn't necessarily have to be a species that we've encountered, but we could explain what they're doing and why they're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Because even still, the deal that's proposed to Enterprise, which is 200 liters of warp plasma for all those repairs, even taking the body of Mayweather. Too many M's.
Yeah.
Too many Ricks.
Right.
Still, whoever put this station together, that's all they got out of it. For a people that are obviously advanced enough to build such a station, they could just knock out the whole crew, take the whole crew. Like, they would have been content with just one guy. They were going to send them on their way.
Yeah, that is a bit of a mystery. Why would they not take the whole crew?
Yeah, they just wanted one. And you kind of have to assume, because you remember at the beginning of the episode, they were actually informed about the station by someone else, a Tellarite,
right,
who got their distress call,
mm-hmm.
and they said something about repair station. Given that there were probably not any new bodies in there, so they didn't even lose a guy. Those Tellarites, they did their repairs, gave something over, and went on their way. Recommended it to the next guy. Do you think Enterprise, if they had lost Mayweather there, even if they had gotten out with no issues, thinking Mayweather died, do you think they would have recommended that station to someone? Probably not. They would have
had someone not died from the Tellarites.
No. If Archer and crew had gotten out, not knowing that Mayweather was taken and all that, they thought he just died. But Archer was like, oh, something's not right, but we just can't prove it. Whatever.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have recommended that station to anyone they come across. So the Tellarites did. So therefore, you have to assume the Tellarites probably did not have someone taken by the station the way Enterprise did. And
I think that's a big assumption you're making.
No. I think it is. I don't think it is, because at the end of the episode, Mayweather, who is the only survivor of those people that were having their brain power taken, says, "What about the rest of the people there?" And the doctor says, "Well, T'Pol scanned everyone. Most of them had been there for years."
Mm-hmm.
I think he would have said, "Oh, there was that Tellarite in there from last Tuesday," but he was dead.
Oh, that's a good point.
It would have been brought up. That. So I don't think the Tellarites had someone taken.
Okay, so the space station, the repair station, has been there for a long time.
Yeah,
it's been collecting species for a while. I saw a Klingon.
I would say as needed. As they need one, they replace. Because surely they burn up.
Okay, so
bodies.
they don't care about an alien's technology. They just need their brain power.
And apparently, it seems only useful for that station. So it's not like the whole species is benefiting, as far as I can tell. So what good is it?
What? The only rationale I could come up with would be if it was deliberately planted there by someone like a nefarious species like the Romulans. But for what reason, though? I mean, if they were collecting intelligence, I can imagine that. That seems like something they would do, like the Romulans would do something like that. But why?
What if it was not built with the intention to do what it did? Maybe they built such an efficient station.
It turned on them? That it turned on the builders.
No. Nothing like that.
Like that Voyager episode.
No. Just that it was never intended to do this at all. That the station, let's say the builders of this station, maybe the station is much older than we realized. And the builders are long gone. And the station, being a self-repairing station, its power supply started dying. So it did the next best thing it could do.
It was like V'ger.
Right. It
was sent out. It was a probe. It got sent out early on and drifted around.
You could even argue that because that station scanned Enterprise, that scanned the database, everything. You could argue that it was a kind of a peace offering from other species to say, "Hey, while we fix your thing, tell us about yourself. We'll tell you about us. Come and say hi." Only the station was run down and it was running low on power, so it just, not maliciously, it did the next best thing it knew how to do, which is find a new power source. And given that it's, let's not say it's sentient, but it's a like AI. It's very smart, but it doesn't have any emotion, so it doesn't care about human life or living beings. It just needs this thing, and it's doing a trade. It's just not telling you all it's trading you for. And for that station, the computer core and powering that is much more important than the repairs, the energy it's taking for repairs. So it was never intended to be that way, let's say.
Never intended to be a repair station.
No, it was intended to be a repair station, but it was also like a handout from another species saying, hey, we're nice, come and see us. Only the station just kind of got a little ahead of itself, and given it that it had been out there for so long, its power core was dying and it needed replenishment. So it did what it does.
Could it have been maybe where it was like a Tin Man scenario where it was a ship that had a crew at one point, but the crew died. But the Tin Man and the crew were not Tin Man. This ship and the crew were connected, like Tin Man's crew was. But when that crew died, the ship started to die. So in order to replenish itself, it had to start stealing people. I can tell I'm not selling you on this one.
You're only because there's no even hint or indication that might be what's going on, but because what it's doing to the people it's sapping its energy from.
Okay, so who is this species then? If we go with your scenario,
it could be anyone. It doesn't have to be someone we know. Just a species.
Okay, well, if
it could be someone they don't meet until Picard's time.
Okay, well, if we go with this scenario, is this going to fit in the episode somehow? Because this is like giving it a backstory. This isn't necessarily writer's room. So
no, this is part 2.
Oh, this is part 2?
Maybe Archer, like plenty pissed, decides he's going to track down who did this thing, who made this thing.
Okay. And that would resolve the cliffhanger. It repairs itself.
Yeah, it's repairing.
And we never hear from it again.
Yeah. So
it's in the likelihood it would run into another Starfleet ship is likely at some point in the near future. Maybe if they had a season 5, they would have run into it again.
That would have been interesting. A little follow-up to it, sure. Because Archer they probably think it was completely destroyed on their way out. They don't know that enough of it was left to where it could be
what's
repaired.
the sequel episode called? Rest Stop?
Let's see. Dead Stop.
I think we joked about this before.
Last Stop.
We were calling it Pit Stop, Rest Stop. Yeah, everything but Dead Stop. We couldn't figure out what the title was. I forget which podcast that was. But anyway, what'd you say?
What did I say?
Oh, no. Last Stop.
Last Stop.
Last Stop. Okay. That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Last Stop. I'll go with that.
Yeah.
So
let's say I like that. In a hypothetical season 5 episode, they run across another one, and they decide we
another one, not the same one.
Yeah. And they decide we cannot, in good conscience, let these things stay out there. We have to figure out, what's going on, or you could even have Archer board it. Of course, he knows exactly what's in that computer core, or. No, because we're going to say that station was an anomaly, right? Because it was left on its own for too long. Or maybe he finds another one doing the same thing. Maybe. But let's say if he goes in there, cracks the core open, and finds all humans. So now he's pissed. It's not just aliens, now it's humans. Where did these come from? He doesn't know. Could have been a freighter crew out there, something. So then they have motivation to actually hunt the makers down.
When they come across it, since it has mostly humans, it knows everything about Starfleet.
Sure.
And so it knows their defenses and knows how to crack them.
But it's not trying to be malicious.
Maybe it's not a repair station like the other one. It's more of a, I don't know, more of a hunter of some kind. It moves around. It's a little more vicious. It doesn't look like it's a wolf in sheep's clothing like the repair station was. What do you think about that?
That to me, but then that suggests that it was built with
what, malicious intent?
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't mean it couldn't have evolved into something else at this point. I mean, this thing is growing, right? Is it not? With as it gains more bodies, it's going to expand. It could change. It can modify.
Well, okay. What about this? What if the one they encounter, this new one, is exactly what it was intended to be? A repair station that is fully functional and working on its own computer core, not requiring that battery power of humans that other one did. And so when they go in there fully expecting to find a whole bunch of bodies in there with their brains hooked up like Matrix style, they realize it's just a computer core and it's working fine. And they're confused. They're like, what?
So what's the twist?
Well, the twist is that what we already know, which is that the people were not malicious at all. And that one that one's serving its function, saying, hey, come and see us. We're the Pac-Leds. We live in this area. We make things go, whatever it is. And then they go and they're like, this is all a trick. And they think that's a trick because they thought the other one was a trick. So they go there, guns blazing, ready to be all hostile and demand answers. But they're all super nice going, hey, you want to have dinner? And that is the twist.
Who's they? Is there a crew on board?
No, no one's on the ship. I'm saying that was the computer automated.
Okay. Well, the way you just presented that,
I'm sorry.
It sound like there were people. No.
Okay. The station, like a recording, says it, but it's like, what's our probe that's out there? Voyager. Is it Voyager? Yeah, Voyager. That's their Voyager, and it's saying, hey, come and see us. And so Archer's looking. That's going. This is a trick. That other one was a trick to get people for its core. This is a trick to draw us in. So he goes there thinking it's a trick, but it's actually not at all. It was all just a fluke. And so they just met these new people, and it's nice. It's fine. It was no big deal. Why can't that be the twist? That they're just nice.
Come on. That's boring. It's got to be dangerous.
So no nice.
They turn out to be nice. Come on, you can do better than that.
Well, think about that episode of Next Generation, Nth Degree. Barclay's taken over.
They know us,
and all it is just these inquisitive. Yeah, well,
that happens.
Guys.
That happens at the last 5 minutes of the episode.
Why can't that be the case?
Before then, we didn't know. Well, the way you presented that was that it was not revealed at the end. It was something that was in the beginning. That's how I was taking that.
Oh. No, the reveal of the species wouldn't be until the end.
I like it being that it's not what they initially... Maybe it wasn't as nefarious as it seemed, but having them be nice, I don't know if I'm for that.
And that station was just...
an anomaly? I don't know. I don't know about that one.
Okay. What if we do it my way, right? Where they're all nice guys and the Enterprise leaves and goes about its business going, well, we had them pegged wrong and all that. But the final shot... the leader guy turning to his friend going, think they bought it? Yeah, they bought it. So they are assholes. What if it's that? What if that's the
You just
twist?
said there was no crew on board.
Not on the station, on whatever planet. Have I not? Maybe I'm not explaining myself.
I don't. Maybe I'm not all there today.
Archer and company run across another station. Only it's working perfectly fine as a repair station. Mm-hmm. There is no bad stuff in the core like this one. It's functioning the way it should have been with a computer in there. And there's also a message saying, hey, we were happy to help you fix your repairs. We're the Pac-Leds. Come and visit us over here on this planet. So that's its intended purpose. It's to be a welcoming hand. Hey, we'll help you fix your thing. Then come see us and come say hi. And so Archer, seeing that message, says, well,
okay, I got
yeah,
you.
then they go there. And then these guys are so nice. Archer is insistent. No, there is something wrong here. Clearly, these guys are all assholes. This doesn't make any sense. Only for him to finally give in and go, well, I guess we had you guys wrong. And literally go about his business and end the same way the first one did, with a little wink, wink going, oh, no. They were bad. They were fooling Archer the whole time just to get rid of him.
It's a cookbook.
Oh, my God, it's a cookbook. Yeah.
That's okay. I'm not.
I personally want it to be where they're just nice guys, and that's the trick.
I guess I'm not sold on it.
Obviously not.
I do like the mystery of not knowing what it is, but still, there is a part of me that would like to know. I'm just not fully sold on this idea of them being nice.
Well, if the impression is that they must have been bad, then the surprise must be that they are nice.
Couldn't they run back into this same repair station?
Same one?
Yeah, in season 5. And then this time they actually have a dialogue with the repair station. It speaks as though the Borg would speak as one voice, because it's how many minds has it collected.
So you want to connect it to the Borg?
No, I didn't say that. It's like that. It's like the Borg, in that it speaks with one voice.
Okay. We are the repair station.
We are the repair station. Resisting our repairs is futile. You will accept our generosity. Something like that, where they actually have some communication. I don't know for what reason.
Can you think of a better, like, now that you said it as a joke, but I mean it just clicked to me. Obviously it was not intended to be that phrase, resistance is futile.
Mm-hmm.
What a perfect 2-word response to like an awesome villain. Just, oh, sorry, 3
words.
Resistance is futile.
Okay.
Like literally you can say anything.
Yeah.
You know, that's their answer. And that's their only answer. There's no second line.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And what a perfect phrase for the villain. You know, how awesome is that? What a great fluke of writing that they, I'm sure, didn't think would hold on for 20 years, you know, and it's just stuck. Resistance is futile.
I mean, you won't get any argument out of me on that
Genius.
one.
Genius.
Yes, it was.
I only mention it because it just, the second you said that, I thought, wow, that really, what a great line. I mean, of course we knew it was a great line, but how impactful and how much 3 words says about that villain. It's all you need to know.
Well, considering we can't seem to agree on what a sequel for this episode would be.
Yeah, we're running into a problem. We both like the mystery, but we don't like how it resolves.
Well, okay. What about this episode itself, though?
Okay, sure.
Was there anything that you would want to change about it?
Well, the only thing I would change about it, because we don't have an actual sequel, is don't show the station repairing itself. Because that just makes you want to see it again.
So, yeah, they deliberately pan away when it's blowing up and they fade out.
Mm-hmm.
So they can go back to it later and show it repairing itself. So if they show it just blowing up, I guess that could be satisfying.
Oh, I think
I would still not. I would still wonder, and that's fine. It's good to wonder what something is when you're left with a dangling thread. Oh, what was that? We'll never know.
Of course, the biggest dangle to the audience that never got resolved in Star Trek, I think, has to be the season 1 finale of Is it the season 1? Oh, it's just shy of the season 1 finale of TNG. The we seek peaceful coexistence.
Didn't I just mention that?
Did you? What's the name?
Conspiracy.
Oh, you did? I'm sorry.
Yes.
I totally missed it. I don't know what I was doing. No. I that one's like the granddaddy of them all.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Well, as I remember, as you know, right? They were going to go back to that.
Yeah, I forget why they didn't. I think
maybe it had something to do with the writer's strike, and then they got caught up in other storylines, like in the Borg.
Yeah, well, yeah. Once you had the Borg, that was it. I guess who cares?
Mm-hmm. Well, season 2 had the writer's strike, right? But I mean,
yeah, I don't know.
I think they wanted to pick up that thread later, but then when they got the Borg, there was just no point after that.
Yeah, they found it.
That was their main villain. So.
Yeah.
As for me, if there's anything in the episode I could change, I agree. I think showing it, changing the ending would have been better.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the other machinations in the episode, I didn't really have a problem with any of it.
Would you have felt some sort of payoff or satisfaction, if you will, if as the station was blowing up on the Enterprise, T'Pol goes, "Sir, the station is sending a transmission. Where to? The Delta Quadrant. What's there? I don't know. It's too far away. We know what's in the Delta Quadrant."
Well, if you want to connect it to the Borg.
I'm just saying, if there was a simple way in that episode to give it a history, to explain where it came from without actually showing it.
Mm-hmm.
What about something like that?
I don't mind that at all. If they wanted to connect that and make it possibly connected to the Borg, I think that's a good way to do it. If she just sends a transmission and says that it's transmitting something to the Delta Quadrant.
Did it get sent? I'm not sure.
I don't know.
And maybe that's the message that sends the Borg cube in TNG. Who knows?
No, that's not.
But
bad.
It's just enough of a, oh, could that be? And all that. kind of perfect.
Is there any other alien species we could connect it to?
That does something that like regenerates itself, that sort of thing.
But that combines minds like that? Was there anything else
I was trying to think about that earlier, and I can't for the life of me think of one.
Certainly that must have happened somewhere in
It
Star
must
Trek.
have. It must have. It must have. I honestly, I wouldn't. I prefer to connect it to something like TOS style. I don't think they get enough connection to that until they hit season 4.
Mm-hmm.
But I cannot think of a species that linked itself like that.
Okay. Yeah, me neither.
Even if we open it up to TNG, I can't think of one. Or if Deep Space Nine, I can't think of one. Other than the founders.
No. But that's okay. I mean, other than a few maybe nitpicks here and there was nothing about the episode I really felt needed to be changed.
Oh, no.
No, I thought it was fine.
Yeah.
It's, like coming off of, we're coming off some pretty evenly paced episodes, and that's being kind. Pretty, not fast. It's just pretty steady. Carbon Creek, Minefield, and then this. It's pretty steady. So, if anything, I would like the pace to be picked up a little bit, but...
You think this one was slow?
No, not slow. I'm just saying I think if we're going by my criticism of the tone, the rhythm kind of being a bit steady.
Okay.
Over these 3 episodes, I think giving us an episode that picks up the pace a little bit would be nice. I know we're not going to get that next week. but I'm still looking forward to it.
Do you think you're the only fan of that episode?
No, I'm sure there's plenty other fans that maybe also enjoy it kind of ironically, but
do you think that episode is looked upon badly?
Looked down upon? I think it is. I never look at the IMDb rating.
I know everyone talks about the dog
until the day we're doing it, until we're about to sit down and do it, because I don't want to go in, with any kind of prejudgment.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it is kind of a looked down upon episode, if you would like to put it that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I just was glancing to see the next, say, like 2 episodes, what's coming. I just wanted to see if your
I'm not aware of
your feelings are addressed.
I'm not aware of what's coming, though. You know that.
I know, and I'm not going to tell you.
Well, what about titles, though? We joked that the sequel would be called Last Stop. Is there a... Well, no, that was not... The joke was recently...
Station 2.
Recently
Last Stop.
Station 2. Last Call. Yeah. Anyway, no, is there an alternate title you think would work better than Dead Stop?
I don't think it should be called Dead Stop. Okay. I think that's almost a giveaway once you know it. Like that, like saying Dead Stop, obviously there's something wrong with it. Like try and fool us for a second that it might be okay.
Yeah.
Let's see, Dead Stop. Quick Stop.
Quick Stop.
Like a mini mart.
How come we hadn't thought of that one before?
Quick Stop.
Quick Stop. See, the captain's name is Dante. I'm not even supposed to be here today.
And then to Paul going, "Oh, shut up! Shut your face!"
Paul runs a video store for some reason. Okay, well that's not going to work. Okay, did you have a real?
You could have
title?
Archer going to Trip. Don't you have any ice? You mean I got to drink this coffee hot?
Come on. Do you have a real title in mind?
No.
Yeah, me neither. But I have begun to notice, since we're actually examining these a little bit more closely, that a lot of these titles do have double meanings. Dead Stop, Minefield.
I hadn't until you just said it.
I hadn't really thought about it, but they can, from time to time, have a double meaning.
Yeah.
I mean, Carbon Creek that's just the name of where they were.
Right.
But, yeah. Broken Bow.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, kind of a play on words and a double meaning, and I like that. I'm okay with that. Are you okay with that?
I'm all right with that.
Okay.
But I can't think of an alternate to Dead Stop.
Lost at Sea, Adrift.
Nah.
Lost in Space.
Lost in Space.
No.
That would have been good. Lost in Space.
Lost in Space Part 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Okay,
now we're just, no, none of that works. Is there anything else you wanted to add about this episode before we move on to trivia?
No. Generally, obviously, a good episode.
Okay, well, I did have a good amount of trivia questions. One we've already spoiled, which was what alien species directed Enterprise to the repair station?
Tellarites. Generally agreeable species.
Generally not agreeable. But trustworthy.
But trustworthy, yeah.
Okay,
right.
So at the beginning of the episode,
yep.
How many days had it been since their encounter with the Romulans in the minefield?
It's been 6 days.
Incorrect.
4.
It's been 4 days. 4 days.
4 was what I meant.
Okay. According to Trip, how long would it take the boys back at Jupiter Station to repair Enterprise?
3 months.
Okay.
As he puts it.
3 months. 3 months.
I'm telling you, Captain, it would take the boys at Jupiter Station 3 months.
Something I wrote down in my notes. The device that repairs Malcolm's leg was half of the exocomp,
which I
you
pointed
that out.
And you thought I was kidding.
I thought you were. I was like, oh, it's probably like a proto exocomp, and you're like, no, that is the prop.
Like the actual prop.
That's the
prop.
They
cut it in half, and that's it.
Yes, I was quite shocked at that. Did I have any other trivia? No, I don't. Did you have any best moments, worst lines? Did you have any awards?
No.
Yeah, that's nice.
I'm sorry. I honestly, the episode was fine. Nothing stuck out to where
I have some.
Right,
okay,
fine.
Best moment. Something you pointed out to me was when they went on the station, and this was just after T'Pol ordered her water from the replicator, and then it was on a table.
Yeah,
and then Archer looked under the table to see if there was anything under there pulling a trick on him. I was like, okay, that was cute. That was
cute.
I'd say, I think worst moment / worst line would probably be the insertion of the customer is always right. Don't think they should have evoked that, but they did. A little too much modern terminology in there.
I agree with you. All right, I have something since I said I had nothing.
Okay.
I would say the Captain Kirk award for for overacting?
No.
Or is it the William Shatner award?
It's the Shatner award for best dramatic performance.
Well,
I have one for best dramatic performance. I hope it's not mine. What do you have?
Trip. When he goes in to fake out the computer, going, I want a refund. I want something. Because that's like Kirk trying to short circuit every computer.
Talking. I want to know how someone files a grievance around here.
Yeah. Get me your manager.
Okay.
That was the worst pan-fried catfish I ever had.
Okay. I really wish he had said that. Okay. Well, I disagree. I think the best dramatic performance by far was Hoshi when she was reiterating the story of how Mayweather fooled her into thinking that gelatin was a life form.
I feel like they missed a beat with that. It missed a punchline.
So did I.
Where she's describing the story that he called her to this room saying, the captain found this gelatinous material. He's pretty sure it's sentient. Can you communicate with it? And she should have said, I spent 6 hours talking to this thing until he told me it was all a joke or something like that. Something to show that he really nailed her.
Well, what do you think, listeners? All three of you out there. We've gained one since last week.
Yeah.
Okay. Which one was the best dramatic performance? Trip or Hoshi? You tell us.
But the whole point of the Shatner Award is it's overacting. You think she was overacting telling that story?
Yeah, I think she was.
I didn't feel that. I just felt it lacked a punch.
What the hell good are you then? I do give an honorable mention for best dramatic performance to Mayweather for trying to remain looking casual while being very shirtless and buff.
Yes, we commented on that.
Excuse me, I was just doing a little bit of push-ups there.
I couldn't hear the comm
Maybe
go
you didn't
off.
hear me because I was almost up to 1,000.
I was flexing too hard.
My muscles are just too big. Can you see them? Okay. So I'd like to apologize for last week. we forgot to read the emails that we gotten, which I had promised to do, and we got wrapped up in the episode and completely forgot. Okay, so we heard back from Marissa, and she said, "Just wanted to say hi. I'm still loving the show and just listened to Carbon Creek, and I completely agree with you about New Trek. It's just not the same anymore." I'm trying to get her inflections in here. I don't know if I'm doing it right. I will say I enjoy watching Lower Decks, but I love it for the Easter eggs and Tawny Newsome.
I had explained to you who that was.
That's right. I did respond to Marissa already. I will take OG Trek over any of the new Trek, though.
Even Voyager.
She didn't say that. That's not in there. On another note, I'm asking everyone I know who loves Star Trek what their favorite drink or what you think it would be of Star Trek is. I'm trying to create some Star Trek cocktails for a book I'm writing. Any input you guys would have would be much appreciated. Thanks, and as always, love the show. Now, we suggested to her...
We have the obvious ones.
We suggested to her the first things that came to our minds, which was...
The Sumerian sunrise or sunset. Sumerian sunset.
And the traditional style, of course. Not the abnormal style,
the
traditional style. And Aldebaran whiskey.
Yes.
And hopefully, you can write in to us and let us know what other drinks we're forgetting. We also heard from...
Surely there's the obvious ones like Romulan ale or,
Oh, yeah, sure.
Sure, but I personally...
Ractigino. We were going for alcohol. That's what she was talking about.
But the first thing I would order, I don't care what you put on that list, is the Sumerian sunset in the traditional style.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoy it.
You better say that when you're done making it, too. Okay, so we heard from Jonathan. Hello, Josh and Justin. I just finished barreling through your podcast over what otherwise would have been a very boring week of law school. Can you imagine that? Someone's listening to us.
We're only entertaining when compared to law school.
But can you imagine that? Someone's listening to us while they're trying to study. I mean, that's got to be hard.
It helps you focus because we're so boring. You'll focus on what you're doing.
Very pleased to find that there just so happens to be a podcast running at the same time I started watching Enterprise. I've never watched Star Trek. How about that? But decided to start in chronological order after watching most of the original series during finals week. I really enjoy your guys' casual conversation, and I'm really glad you decided not to continue doing scene by scenes.
One episode.
Up the great work.
One episode.
I admitted that. That was my idea, and it was a bad idea. We only did it once.
I held on to the very end of the episode to tell you, let's not do it again.
You could have stopped me.
We were too deep.
Yeah, I guess so. Before we figured out how bad it was.
Well, I knew within 5 minutes, but...
Well, then we weren't too deep. Well, we could have started over.
No. Anyway, we had to commit.
Thanks for writing in, Jonathan. It was great to hear from you. I hope that, I hope the rest of your school year goes well. Congratulations.
I'm glad we know someone we can call in the event of a legal emergency.
Yes. If we need a lawyer, we're going to call you, Jonathan. Okay. But it was great to hear from you both. And if anyone wants to write us, please do. We encourage that. It's podcastnx01@gmail.com. Also,
Jonathan, I would like to ask you, as someone going into the legal field, do you really find yourself hoping that you end up in court able to quote or paraphrase Measure of a Man? I mean, come on. That has to be.
Do you? Of course he does. Come on.
You have to, right?
Of course he does. If there's I'm sorry. There is something I'd like to ask. I don't like asking for favors, but
I need $50.
Yes, that too. There is no easy way to ask, but the thing is podcasting has changed a lot over the past 15 years, and it's really hard to get a show
off the ground
noticed.
Yeah.
We don't promote our show at all. The only way we've been getting any listeners at all is if people happen to stumble upon us through searching or something along those lines. So if
through law students that are so desperate for entertainment,
that too. If you could, if you like us, which if you're listening to us and you've made it this far, I'm saying is yes. And I want to ask, what's wrong with you? No, please
tell your friends.
Write a review, a short review on iTunes, and rate us. Not iTunes, Apple Podcasts. Yeah. Keep saying that.
Same thing.
Do a review on Apple Podcasts and rate us. That'll help push us in their algorithm if they have one like YouTube. I don't know. And that'll push us to other people. Maybe the people it pushes to won't like us, but hey, that's how it works in the 21st century. So if you could help us out there, that'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, now that I'm done begging, I think
That's a good note to go out
I
on.
think I'm done. All right. See you next week.
Bye.